Miss Kathryn Kauffman, all the way from Lexington, joining us here tonight. Thank you so much, everybody.
Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you guys. My name is Kathryn Kauffman and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show. This is where we discover what and who we are in this journey called life. Happy Monday night, everybody. We have a special guest here with us this evening. Her name is Scarlet Porretta of Scarlet's Soul Cafe. I am going to put up a link to her Instagram and her YouTube channel right here for you in case you want to seek her out, ask questions, get a reading. Go over to her YouTube channel and give her some love tonight. Let me turn the chat on and get with some welcomes tonight. Hey to Kayla Rodriguez, good to see you. Feel free to ask any questions you like in the comment section. I will try to keep up with those. For those of you guys over here joining on Instagram, my Monday night buddy, Miss Joy Hall, and all the others that tune in on Monday night, good to see you. This is the only way that I can stream this for you guys because Restream doesn't interface with Instagram for some stupid reason that really burns me up, but whatever. Okay. So Scarlet, tell me about yourself. Like, what is your background as a paranormal investigator, intuitive medium, and how did you like get into all this, and what are you doing now with it?
Well, first of all, Kathryn, thank you so much for inviting me to be a guest. I'm a huge fan. I just connected with you without you even realizing it because of what you promote and the way that you approach this topic. I have to say thank you to you because it's very responsible. And I think I had even sent you an email saying, oh my goodness, I'm so glad to hear someone who's talking about protection, you know, and how to protect. And you have a great a show out there on YouTube. I saw it on negative traps. And I thought, wow, you know, these are things that we need to talk about. So I'm so excited to be part of your show. So thank you.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you so much. Well, a little bit about myself. As you mentioned, I am a intuitive medium, very much like yourself. We just say it a little bit different. And as for the paranormal investigation, quite honestly, the paranormal investigation is in support of the intuitive medium work that I do. You know, I've been doing this professionally for 10 years now. And how do you get into it? Well, how did you get into it, girl? We are born with this.
Yeah, I mean, you're born with the abilities, but I think that you have to have an interest in procuring them and honing them to where the information you get, you know, it's accurate and not imagination. And that you have a desire to actually help people with it, but have it support you as a living too. Because I love the work, I want to do it as a full-time profession. And because of that, we have to be able to make a living at it, to provide it.
You're absolutely right.
On a full-time basis. Hey, to Ashley Ramirez Henderson, Kat Berard, Sheila Sunley. A big shout out to Melissa Begley and her sidekick, Miss Cleo, Nisha Willrich, Carolyn Harris Sparkman. Good to see you all here tonight. Please feel free to ask Scarlet any questions about her or what she does. But so how many years? You said 10 professionally. How far back does this go? Like, when did you first get into this?
Well, I first realized that there was something a little different when I was about 4 years old, and I started seeing people at the foot of my bed. And that one the very first experience that I recall was a man at the foot of my bed. And I found it such a strange thing. Oh, I was frightened as 4 years old, you can imagine. And then of course I would call my parents to come in. I was scared, and I have amazing, wonderful, supportive parents. And of course they run in to make sure I'm okay, but they didn't see what I saw.
Oh my.
And it was, yeah, that was a little startling for me, especially as a 4-year-old. And I could see this gentleman at the foot of my bed as clearly as I could see my mom and dad in the room.
Wow.
And so it was a little alarming, you know, it really is, especially as a child. So, and you just don't know what to do with it at that stage. And of course, I recognized that things were happening to me. I'm going to call it by accident, because that's how it felt, where, you know, you would see someone and then something would happen, or you would dream of something, or you had this vision and it would happen. So things, I'm going to say, would happen by accident. It was when I was in my 40s that I really felt a calling, felt a calling. It was quite interesting. And I kind of was pulled in the direction. I remember I was shopping at one of my girlfriend's stores. She had a little shop in Stouffville, Ontario called Moonflowers, and her psychic had called in sick.
Oh.
And yeah, and so she was like very, very, oh my goodness, I can't be open on a Saturday without a psychic. And she's like, Scarlet, you're psychic. And I'm like, no, I'm not. She said, yes, you are. I need a psychic here. And then I figured, okay, you know what? I thought, honest, how many people are going to walk in? And so I figured I'm just going to go with it. She was in need. She was distressed. And I thought I wanted to help out.
Mm-hmm.
So lo and behold, I had about 5 readings that day. I didn't anticipate that. And I thought that was the end. I helped out a friend, and that's it. I'm done.
Yeah,
and she called me
up. Though, at the end of the day, did you feel like you did a good job?
Oh, you know what? It felt amazing to be able to help people like that.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't anticipate that at all, because I had zero expectations. You know, I just dove in feet first. But to be able to give people that peace and clarity, you know, it was such a good feeling to be able to do that. Wasn't a good feeling
in our other jobs, do we?
Well, this is it, right? I mean, you're absolutely right. Now, Kathryn, I have to say, you know, when people come to us, it doesn't feel good that they're in distress. You know, that part of it doesn't feel good to me. Right. But the fact that, you know, that we have this ability where we can be of support and provide that peace and clarity, whether it be in a guidance reading or channeling a loved one, you know, it was a little bit of it was a bit of an eye opener, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, I got a phone call that week from Charlene, and she said to me, Scarlet, I got to put you on the schedule. There's too many people requesting you.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay,
provide a great service to them.
Well, so, you know what? You just do it from the heart, you know?
So we were talking about, one of the subject actually for this evening was psychic protection. So one of the questions I wanted you was like, what is the worst thing that you've seen happen as a result of inadequate protection before or after an investigation?
Well, you know what's interesting here? The topic today is specifically about paranormal investigations, and I know you're going to agree with me when I say this extends to all things paranormal.
Absolutely.
You know, whether you venture, you know what? I want to purchase some tarot cards, as I know Kayla has. I know she's on here, and I want to experiment, right? And I want to experiment with these tarot cards. That comes with, you know, a sense of responsibility and protection of yourself and space. Mm-hmm. Now, going back to your question about what's the worst thing. Well, we had we were part of a lockdown, an investigation, and really the lockdown was being done not as because anything needed to be cleared. It was more of an entertainment where, you know, a bunch of us were getting together and we were going to check out this place that was known for being haunted.
Right.
And because we were entering it with the mindset of it being entertainment, we had a couple of friends who, before meeting us there at the location, stopped to have some drinks and some Yes, you know where this is going, right? They
Yes.
stopped to have some drinks, and they had what I'm going to call lower vibrational food.
Oh,
You can imagine the recipe for disaster that was.
that is a
And
recipe for disaster. True, true, true.
yes, because when you do these things, you weaken your aura field, right? And it just enables things to jump us, and you got to remember too, entities, there's a difference between spirit and entities. Entities are not pleasant. They're lower vibrational. Spirit are, friends and family, humans, I'm going to call them humans, who are on the other side, right? So
Exactly.
and so we're not terribly worried about them. We're worried about, the entities, and they're constantly looking for that weak spot in the armor. So if you give them that opportunity for that weak spot in the armor, they will jump you. So during the investigation, I remember sitting there in the room, and I'm saying, I feel very uncomfortable. I feel like there's a spirit in here that's very aggressive, doesn't like us being in here, and perhaps we should leave. But everybody was like, no, let's continue. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to go with the flow. And I could see that this friend of mine, I could see that he was fading.
Oh.
And yes, and he would have this weird look in his eye, like he would just gaze, and the way he would respond wasn't normal. It wasn't what he normally does.
Mm-hmm.
And as we proceeded through the home, he got worse, and then finally he passed out from being possessed.
Oh.
And I know, luckily, I mean, everything worked out fine. He's fine today. But yeah, he ended up getting
rectify the situation. Like, were there steps that you took to bring him out of that, and what were those?
Yeah, well, what one of the girls there that does this removal quite often, what she did was she sent Archangel Michael in with one of her guides, and she instructed him, to walk out of this situation with the guides. And so once he came to, then of course, I gave him some water, and as I was chatting with him to see if he's okay, I could see that he was not okay, and he just poked at me and he said, "Scarlet, we need to get out of here." So I immediately pulled him up and I removed him from the area. We had to remove him from the haunted location altogether.
So did he have any residual effects, and how did you guys deal with that?
It took a while. It took a while for him to really come back. What we did was Palo Santo. Palo Santo if I'm going on an investigation, I never leave without it. And I know that, sometimes it's not convenient to do a smudge. You can't light a fire with sometimes, goodness knows, girl, I've set off alarms in many hotels and even at home from time to time. So I have learned.
From essential oil, you could put that in a sanctified water spray. And not have to use the smudge. And in fact, I think that actually lasts longer sometimes.
It does. And you know what? I actually have it here on my desk. I've got the Palo Santo essential. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding when I say I never leave home without it. I always have that thing close to me. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes I just bring it like that and I just anoint, and or you turned it into a spray like what you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what modalities do you use to assure that you're protected during an investigation?
What a great question.
Palo Santo.
Right. You know what? There's actually a bit of a process that I follow. And I practice this in pretty much everything that I do, but I'm really vigilant when it comes to a paranormal investigation. And so if I have to give advice out there, I'm going to break it down to make it easier, because there are things that you do before the investigation. There's things that you do prior to the investigation. There's things you do during the investigation. And then there's things that you do afterwards. So I'll go through that. Before the investigation, what you actually want to do is stay away from alcohol, any recreational drugs of any kind. And you want to ensure that you're eating high vibrational food. You want to understand, you want to have a bit of a baseline for the frequency within your body, so that you're understanding when you're feeling frequencies coming at you from different areas.
So for those of you that are joining and just getting on, this is a talk show geared towards answering paranormal questions that come up in readings that we do professionally during the week. So we don't necessarily do readings on the show ever. This is strictly an informational type of show. So I can't pronounce your name. I'll just see. We will have links to our professional websites where you can contact us if you want a reading. But I do have a question from Melissa Newman. She wants to know, what is Palo Santo?
What a great question. Palo Santo is actually a wood. I think it comes from a tree down in the South America area. It's very fragrant, and Palo Santo is one of those items, smudge essential oils, that when you burn it, anything negative cannot stay in that space.
It changes the vibration.
It does.
The area. And just for fun here, I want to do a shout out to my most favorite person in the whole world, Miss Martha Theobald in Louisville, Kentucky. Thanks for loving my hair.
I like that. That's awesome.
So we both use Palo Santo. Sometimes I'll use a smudge. If I can't, like, let's say there's somebody in the residence that's on oxygen or that's elderly, or there are a lot of kids, I will use the essential oil. And so how do you use the Palo Santo?
Well, I actually either burn the wood, or I'll use the I'll use the essential oil. I also make a spray, and I carry that spray with me as well. And I mix it with water that I have blessed under a full moon for 3 days. And then, of course, I put a couple of drops of the Palo Santo, and I put a couple of drops of grapefruit just to make it smell a little more fragrant. And I do add a little bit of alcohol. I use gin.
Awesome.
I do, because gin is made with juniper berries, which is also highly protective.
It's also protective. You are so smart. That is intelligent beyond belief.
And then, you know what, girl, if maybe you want to have a bit of a sip of it, you can do that too afterwards, depending on how the investigation went.
Breath freshener.
There you go. Of course.
I'm just kidding. Yasmin wants to know if there's any other name for this wood.
No, Palo Santo. It's spelled Palo, and then Santo is Santo. I don't know what it means, because that's a Spanish word. If I had to guess, it would be blessed wood. I don't know.
I'll have to look it up and put it on the show notes afterwards.
Yeah, I've never thought about it. But you know something, because there's a lot of questions about, or a lot of curiosity around Palo Santo. I want to simplify it for our viewers. Rosemary is also equally good. Yes.
And like I think Melissa's saying, King Solomon selected cedar woods for his buildings because the cedar tree is adorned with wisdom. And, you know, Native Americans in our part of the country, not out west, but in our central part of the country, also used cedar and cedar wood specifically for their smudges. The white sage and that was more Western United States instead of the Eastern tribes. So, you know, cedar has been long associated with protective energy. So is peppermint, like Scarlet said, rosemary. You know, lemon is used.
Lemon is amazing.
Portals. So there are a lot of natural things that work to do this. Let's see what we questions here. Kayla Rodriguez says, do either of you utilize protection amulets? Yes, Kayla, and I have a long ago video on my YouTube channel specifically about amulets, and after the show I'll go back and put a link to it in the show notes. Melissa says, we need this recipe: Palo Santo gin, moon blessed water, and grapefruit.
Grapefruit oil.
I have to ask you if you'll put the recipe on there.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny because
you know what's better? Do a post on your Instagram, okay? And put the recipe on there. And all of you that want the recipe that are tuning in, I want you to go and like Scarlett's Instagram page.
Perfect.
And her YouTube channel.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate that.
you might even do a YouTube video on how to make it.
There you go. Oh, I love it. I love it. You know what? Hint, hint, wink, wink. And you know what? I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so
I'll start with posting the recipe.
Judith looked it up. She says Palo Santo is Spanish for holy wood. So you're so right, Scarlet, and is one of nature's awesome tools for raising vibrations and purifying and cleansing your space.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Judith.
That's amazing. Thank you, Judith, for doing that. That's awesome.
So you
know what? Now, going back to actually Kayla, I wanted to address that because when you're going into a paranormal investigation, even when you're doing readings or whatever, but in particular investigation, you can select religious items that are meaningful to you, you know, that are protective to you. And you can use crystals or stones. You can absolutely do that. One thing I want to mention, though, that we always forget, because we tend to put like necklaces on or maybe bracelets or rings, and we tend to forget the back. You know, when you're doing a paranormal investigation in particular, make sure you either have, you know, a saint on the back of your, you know, backwards necklace, or anoint yourself in the back with some Palo Santo. But you always have to protect your back as well. We tend to forget that.
Yes, and on many videos from past investigations, you can see where a spirit through a light anomaly goes straight through the back of the cervical spine to attach to someone.
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen it.
It's totally freaky. Totally freaky. But that is one of the biggest areas to protect, is the back of the spine or the back of the neck. I'm so glad you brought that up.
I know it's crazy because I remember looking at footage from an investigation that we did. I mentor psychic kids, and so this is where the psychic investigations, or pardon me, paranormal investigations come in. And during an investigation, because I do the investigations with my I call him my smarter half. He's so amazing with Mauricio. So he comes with me, and we do it with another couple, Tina and Paul Jackson, and they're fabulous at it. They've been doing it for many, many years.
Awesome.
Yeah, as well as I've done it with family members. My daughters come, my sister has come along. So, you know, and we're all very, very cautious and very respectful when we're entering. But during this one investigation, one of the guys that was there, he was, of course, didn't believe in orbs, right? He was like, oh, it's just dust particles. And so we saw a playback of it, and it entered, and exactly like what you were saying, it entered through the back. You could see his personality change. He just went a little bit like what the heck is going on? Luckily, it didn't last too long, and you could see the orb dart out, and then all of a sudden he's shaking. He goes, "Oh, I got to get out of here. Like, I don't know, I don't feel right. I just got to stand up. I got to get out of here."
It totally messes with a person's, you know, nervous system. So going back to what you were saying about, you've got a specific routine that you use when you're going into something. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So prior to, or so before, let me put it, I'll call before and then prior to the investigation. So before the investigation, I make sure that I eat very, very well, very clean, lots of fruits, vegetables, raw if possible. I drink lots of water, stay away from caffeine. I stay away from any alcohol, any recreational drugs. I don't do those, but the alcohol once in a while. But you know what? You want to stay away from those items there. And I commence a bit of a ritual of cleansing and keeping my aura and energy levels clear, because I want to have that baseline of frequency within me. Then prior to the investigation, that's then when you decide, make sure you've got your protective items, your Palo Santo, maybe rosemary, basil is another one that I use as well. And I drink it too. I actually make,
and the elixir?
Yeah, exactly. I make a tea out of it. It's just hot water over. Yeah. And I let it steep for about 10 minutes, and I'll drink that. That purifies from the inside. Cause you know what? We do a lot of work on the outside, but we forget the inside, right? Like I'm a huge advocate for protecting from the inside first, you know? And you decide on what amulets you want to bring, what religious items you want to bring. And it also depends on your comfort level too. You know, if you feel you don't need those items, you know, then, and you protect yourself differently, then do that. But if you're dabbling and you're new at this, I strongly recommend bringing the protection items. I really do. And then, as you are there, so as you're approaching the haunted location, you always want to have a bit of conversation with the spirit inside, and you want to be very respectful. You're about to enter their home, and it's a little bit different. I always equate it, because when I'm channeling, I'm inviting that spirit into my space. But when I go there, I'm entering their space. So you want to be very, respectful, as if you were entering, one of your friends'
house.
Exactly, right?
Entering without an invitation. So
exactly. So this is where you've got to be super, super, respectful. Yeah.
Right.
I find sometimes you watch these shows and they're, getting them all wound up, the spirit, and then that's not a good thing. It's not
provoking. Provoking is like whenever they do that on TV and they start provoking, I'm just sitting there going, oh my God.
I feel the same way. I cringe.
Can you imagine being a family member of whatever spirit is at that location and having somebody from wherever coming in and your family member spirit? Would that
it's not okay? Yeah, it's not okay. And I know that they're wanting to get, they want to get a reality.
Justified to gather evidence. I really don't.
Yeah. And you know what? In my opinion too, and in my experience, you get more by being respectful.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Having a connection, trying to be respectful. Most of the time I get more evidence by asking them to tell me their story and what's wrong. Tell me what's wrong than anything
and what
else.
Can we do to help? Like, what do you need from us? And that's the way to do it, Kathryn. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So what suggestions do you have for people who, let's say we have new people that are joining us here and they're curious and they want to know, they want to experience it. What do you suggest they do as far as going out to investigate? What kinds of things do they need to do?
To continue with that list, I'm just, we've talked about the, before, the prior, the during. Now, while you're there, you be respectful. If you sense something, don't try to be a hero. Go outside, catch your breath, pay close attention to how you're feeling. And it's important to select like-minded people and like-hearted people when you're going on an investigation, because the last thing you want is to be, sideswiped because someone all of a sudden has decided to do something daring or, that could cause harm to the whole investigation. So you want to be mindful of that, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, afterwards, as soon as you leave the premises, you want to say thank you to the spirit there. You always want to, have some gratitude for allowing us to be in their home and or whatever land or whatever it is that you're investigating. And I always do a bit of a spritz afterwards. I also do prayer. Prayer for me is huge. And what I do is I disconnect with them. I say, you know what? Thank you so much for having a conversation with you. I'm going to be leaving, so I'm disconnecting with you with love, and we're parting ways today. And sometimes if I feel something a little sticky, I say, don't follow me. This is your home. Don't follow me, because I've had them follow me. I learned the hard way. Trust me, the advice I'm giving is.
I think all of us that do this type of work have dragged something home with us at one time or another.
It's not fun.
What if you encounter something really bad, and what's the worst thing that you've encountered?
Ooh, I believe I've encountered a couple of highly negative entities. One, it was trapped in a mirror. That mirror was crazy. It was at. God, it was so creepy. We were filming it, and you could see that it would shrink when Mauricio walked by, it shrank in the window, pardon me, in the mirror. And then as he left, it came back and it had these eyes glowing. We caught it actually on night vision camera. It was unbelievable. So, what we did was we wrapped that mirror in a white blanket and a white sheet. Mauricio actually duct taped it. We moved it out of the home, and we had moved it into a garage that was on the side of the home. And then the owner actually put the thing on Facebook and got rid of the haunted mirror, which is fine if that's what people want to do. Just take that with responsibility. Make sure that you bind whatever is in the mirror or protect yourself, with that. Yeah. The other thing is we actually caught on an EVP a voice of, I'm not even going to repeat because we kept asking, what is your name?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it actually gave us the name, and we're like,
no,
what?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm never going to repeat it ever. And we caught it actually saying its name. Prior to that, I had seen like a weird kind of, because being mediums, you and I can see things that maybe the camera won't catch,
right.
But then something else will captivate it and validate what we've seen, what we've channeled. And I could see this thing walking around that was a little bit low on 4 legs, almost looked like a dog, but not a nice dog.
Yeah.
And then we got that name, and that was a little bit alarming,
So, and I have done a show in the past about demonic possession, but I do get a lot of questions about symptoms of a demonic infestation, or what's the symptoms of being possessed. And I usually will ask the person to send me what's happening to them, because I'm not going to tell them what has happened.
Right. Exactly.
Because that's going to cause it to happen. And if what they're telling me is not a part of a demonic infestation, then I don't want to connect them with that. Does that make sense?
No, it totally does. And you're very smart for doing that.
Yeah.
Because the good news about about possessions is, they're almost like stray cats. If you don't feed them, they'll go away. They're almost like that. That's how I equate them. Unless, of course, you've allowed something in that's a little more serious, but you've got to allow it in. This is the big thing. So I don't want people to walk away feeling so frightened of, like that type of possession. It's that level of possession takes time. It really takes time.
Yes, it does. Now, this is a troll I'm trying to remove.
Oh.
But, and we get those from time to time.
We're going to have that. We're going to have that.
Sorry to you guys in the chat. Whoever this Cynthia Morgan is trying to troll our feed and procure clients.
Oh, yeah. Heavens.
Cool. It's not cool, Cynthia. It's not cool. But we're going to ignore that. We're going to ignore that. Let's see if there's anything else I need to do. Let's see. I'm just blocking right now, but I can't remove the comments. Sorry. Can't remove the comments, but I can block them. All right.
I always find it interesting when, because we do get these odd situations where people will piggyback and attempt to get clients. Makes me wonder, how good are they? I'm sorry to say that. Forgive me. I'm not trying to be catty. I just wonder, how good are they if they've got to piggyback off of someone else to get business?
Well, I think it is a desperation attempt at trying to take energy from what we're trying to do here tonight.
Yeah, it's not okay.
Because if you're good enough reader, you don't have to worry about procuring clients. They will find you. And you're going to grow, you're going to grow your business. I would like everybody to go and like Scarlett's Instagram and her YouTube channel, because that really helps out. So Kat wants to know, can you distantly remove undesirable or stuck spirit? Is that something
it can be done. It can be done. I usually refer that out. I don't consider it to be one of my fortes. I have done it. I have removed it. But I like to leave certain things to professionals that actually do this for a living. And it can be actually remotely removed. It actually can be.
So Kat says, I get asked a lot. I cannot, can you ladies? I have done remote sessions before. I really would rather be at the location myself, simply because it's a psychometric, I think, type of reaction where you get information from actually touching the environment that's around
really
you. And I can't get that remotely. I still can do a remote session because energy is energy no matter where you are, but it just seems to work so much better through that psychometric ability if I can be there and touch what I'm trying to work with.
I like what you said, what I'm trying to work with, because without being there, it becomes difficult to really assess what you're dealing with. And you don't want to stir something up accidentally, make a bit of a problem, you know, for whoever it is that's living there or whoever owns that property. I have seen people that do clearings, home clearings remotely, but I'm on the same page as you where I'd like to be there as opposed to. I take it with such strong responsibility, because how many times have people had fun, or maybe they didn't do it on purpose, and they've created more of a problem in the home. They just didn't. Yeah, it can happen, you know, not intentionally, but it can happen.
So Kat wants to know, can you PM the name, please? I'm not sure. Oh,
I know, Kat.
Wanting the name of the person that you use.
Yes, I know Kat. Hi, Kat. I'll send you the info after.
Okay, big kisses. Thank you for that question. So she wants to know, is there a difference between a space clearing or a stuck spirit? So
yes. I like we both, yeah. There's a big difference.
Yeah, because space clearing can entail any type of entity. You may encounter who knows what. That's why I always go in with the big guns for whatever, because now honestly, I've been caught with my pants down before. And regret. Okay. So people call me with little stuff. And I'm going, oh, that'll be easy. And I walk in and it's a god awful cluster FU. Yeah. So I always go in, guns blazing.
I feel you. I feel you. But you know, there is a big difference between, you know, doing a home cleansing because you've gone through a divorce, you know, and there was a lot of arguing there, versus, you know, a home clearing because doors are closing, you know, kitchen cabinets are opening, things are moving, you hear things walking, you know, there's a big difference between the two types of clearing. And yeah, they take
pop it off.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So we were talking earlier. I have to clue you guys in on this. We were talking earlier about paranormal activity because it's at a high right now. It is at a high. And on the 31st, which was Saturday night, I had some activity at my house here, and where the trash can lid actually kept popping off and flying out into the kitchen floor.
Unbelievable.
So, of course, we put a camera on it. Let me see what you think about this, Scarlet. I put a camera on it. The only thing that I could see on camera footage was that the light in the kitchen, and I don't know if this is a camera malfunction or what it was, because visually I could not see this happening, but it came on the video. The light in the kitchen kept dimming, and then it would blaze up, and then it would dim, and then it would blaze up. That's the only thing I got on video.
And of course, I mean, listen, when we feel some kind of, you know, energy like that, and in your case, you're having then also a physical reaction, and then on top of it, now you're seeing this light dimming. There's no coincidence here. You know, spirit needs energy. And the easiest way for them to get energy to communicate with us is through electricity.
Right.
Electricity is one. Water is the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Water, but electricity is the most common.
Right.
Often I'll have, devices like computers, iPads, or even my phone, Fritz in my hands. And
Okay,
it's
we got some more questions. Melissa Newman wants to know, I need a home cleansing from my contractor who remodeled my kitchen. I think I can do this myself, maybe. Absolutely, you can. If you go back through the playlist of Monday Night Live, Melissa, there's a 3-part series on Don't Buy a Haunted House. And there's a 3 or 4-part video on energy and space clearing. All you have to do is watch those 3 videos. You can do that yourself. It's not a big deal. Kat says, in shop, my healing space, people I will say LOL like to leave residue not so nice after they leave. I need to buy salt and Palo Santo by the cases.
Yes, you do.
What's a good idea, Kat, is to hide a piece of blue kyanite in the room, or a piece of white selenite.
Selenite is amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
selenite is amazing. And anybody that knows Kat, she's got a great little shop out in Coldwater, Ontario, and she's very particular about the energy and protecting her space.
Tell everybody what the name is. What's the name of her shop?
The name of her shop is Just Breathe.
Oh, I love that.
I know, Just Breathe.
Kat,
now let's see.
Would leave a link to your site or your phone number and stuff for the people that are joining the chat so that they can find you. I love that. That is awesome.
And there it is, Kat Bernard, Just Breathe Inc. And you'll find her even on Facebook on that.
Yeah. Lucia, Scarlet, you're a person I don't know what Julian and I would have done without you. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
I love you, Lucy, and I love Julian. Julian's actually one of my psychic kids.
Awesome.
And he's an exceptional young man. And I have to give Lucy such accolades, because as a mom, this is tricky, like you want to make it go away. But Lucy works alongside with Julian. And let me tell you, Julian has had some crazy, crazy experiences with how he was drained, like any of us that do this work. And there were times where poor Julian, because he didn't know how to handle the energy, would have like these black circles under his eyes. But during actually an investigation, Julian helped a spirit that had been following him around cross over.
Oh,
so that awesome. It was amazing. I know. It was
like a specialty of his for the future. Who knows?
Who knows where it's gonna go?
Innate knack for that. So
who knows?
Before we close, I want to find out, Scarlet, what are your where is Scarlet going? What is she going to be doing? How can we get in touch with her? How can we
I appreciate that.
Get a reading? Tell me what you're going to be doing.
Well, you know what? I'm actually, this fall, I'm going to be launching a podcast. It's going to be called Soul Talk. I'm super excited, and I'm going to be having conversations. I'm going to have you as a guest, Kathryn, because I really want to talk to people who have dedicated their lives to helping us and those out there nourish our soul. And so I'm really super excited about doing that. Of course, wherever it takes me, where I can help those with peace and clarity, that's where Scarlet is going. And where can people reach me? As you mentioned, Scarlet Soul Cafe. I'm Scarlet with 1 T, because I know sometimes people have difficulty finding me with 2 T's.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm Scarlet with 1 T, Scarlet, and you can even find me at on my website too, and you can send me an email out there. It's scarlets-whispers.com.
Oh, let me try to get that on here. Hang on, people, let me get on here. www.scarlet. Go into whispers. SCARLETWHISPERS. What else?
So it was scarlets-whispers.com.
Okay, I forgot the dash. Whispers.com.
Yes.
You check this when it comes up on the feed. Make sure I did it right.
You're a doll.
Right,
Thank
right?
you.
Is that
That's perfect. Oh, Scarlet with an S. Scarlet's Whispers.
Oh, okay. Okay, hang on.
No worries.
Hang on. Ah, I can't take it down.
While you're doing that, I want to tell those out there one last trick for an investigation. Afterwards, when you guys get home, remove your clothes. This is the hard part because you're going to be exhausted. Remove your clothes, launder them immediately, and take a nice shower. Just wash any residue off that you might have encountered.
Assault.
There we go. You got it. And I figured I'd say that just to
tell
get
everybody
the time.
about your YouTube channel and what they can see on that.
You know what? I give all kinds of tips for nourishing your soul, manifesting your life, how to manifest your best life, because it's not that difficult. But I share stuff on there that no one else is going to share with you because I don't know why, but I do. I share that info. And I do readings. Yeah, I'll do very general readings for the community. What do they call that? The communal energy readings. And it's a pick your card reading. You can check that out if sometimes you're just feeling a little lost and you need a little bit of guidance.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show. I'm going to end the stream over here on Instagram first, and then over here on the podcast. And let's see if I did it correctly. Okay. So to all you guys over here on the other platforms, I really appreciate you showing up and being here, asking your questions, being invested in this. We love seeing you guys here on Monday nights. It's just like our Monday night, sit down and have a cup of tea, chat, and learn something and grow together. And so don't forget, next weekend is going to be cursed locations. Why do some locations never thrive? And like some businesses, business after business after business is going to go in a perfect location, and it always fails. Let's find out why next week. Kisses from Kentucky, and I will see you guys
from Canada.
next week.